So in the second part of example 2, we're going to calculate the exponential smoothing with trend adjustment, and we're going to use the formula given in the lecture notes. So there's 3 formulas here, and these 3 formulas, we're going to use it for these 3 columns here. So FIT is column I, your F is your forecast sales, column G, and then your T is your trend, which is column H. And before we start, what you need to know is that for the first period, your forecast equals to the actuals, and then in the first period, your trend just equals to 0. And in the first period, our FIT equals to forecast plus the trend. So in the first period, our FIT equals to G7 plus H7. For period 2, to calculate F, the forecast, what you need to know is that the forecast depends on FIT from the previous period. So your forecast depends on column I from the previous period. So once we know that, then we can substitute that into the formula. So the forecast sales for period 2 is basically your FIT, which is column I, the 97 from the previous period. So 97 from the previous period plus your alpha 0.3 times bracket actual from the previous period. So actual is your 97 from column D, so D7, minus your forecast FIT, forecast was trends from the previous period. So again, the 97 from column I. And once you have set this formula up once, then you can replicate it. You can drag it down and replicate it. Okay, you can just drag it down and replicate it, and then you're done for column F. So next is trend. To calculate the trend, the formula is trend equals to beta is 0.1 times your forecast from the current period minus from the forecast from the previous period. So we're going to minus the both number from column G, and then plus 1 minus the beta times trend from the previous period. Once we know this formula, we can substitute that into the equation. So beta is your 0.1, so 0.1 times forecast period from the current period minus forecast from the previous period. So forecast current period is your G8 minus the forecast from the previous period, which is G7, plus 1 minus beta. So 1 minus beta, so beta is 0.1. So 1 minus beta means that we have 0.9 times the trend from the previous period. So trend from the previous period is your column H. So column H, and then from the previous period, so it's H7. Okay, so once we have set up this formula once again, then we go to bottom right corner, black cross, you just drag it down and replicate the formula. And then you're done for this column. Last part is FIT. FIT, we created the formula at the beginning already, which is your column G plus your column H. So that formula does not change. So this formula is done. We can just replicate it by dragging it down. And then you're done all 3 columns. And then we can format it to 2 decimal place and make it look nice. Once these 3 columns are done, then we can calculate the absolute forecasting error. Same formula from before, ABS, so equal ABS. And then you just take the actual is 142, minus the FIT. Okay, so it's not the FT, you minus the FIT. So you call them I. And then once you've done that, then you bottom right corner black cross, you see the black cross, you just drag it down, and then you're done. You replicate the formula. Okay, so the idea that you need to understand is that you need to know how to replicate the formula, right? So the idea is that what you need to do is you need to understand that you just need to set up the formula once correctly. Once you have set up the formula once correctly in Excel, then you can just drag it down by replicating it in the bottom right corner, dragging it down and replicating it. Right, so same here. Once you have set up the formula once for the trend, once this is set up correctly for the second period, then bottom right corner, you see the black cross, you just drag it down and then you replicate it. Same idea for the FIT. Once you've set it up once, bottom right corner, black cross, drag it down, replicate the formula, and then you're done. Okay, so you don't do it by paper. You need to know how to set it up in Excel and then replicate the formula. So that's the most efficient way.